and Mr. Yogi Adityanath are coming out and saying that the ban is an attack on Islam. Muslims, they say, can't consume or procure products that aren't manufactured out of ingredients or according to processes specified in Islamic law. Therefore, the ban that deprives Muslims of their right to consume halal products restricts their religious rights. This is what is being said. Here's a sample.
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को हिंदू मुस्लिम करने का मौका मिल गया है हलाल प्रोडक्ट पे। अब उसको इससे मतलब नहीं कि उत्तर प्रदेश की अर्थव्यवस्था वो खराब होगी। किस तरीके से हलाल प्रोडक्ट के आयात पे निर्यात रोक लगाई है, निर्यात पे रोक नहीं लगाई है, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की दोहरी मानसिकता को दिखाता है। दिल्ली और लखनऊ के इंजन आपस में टकरा रहे हैं। जो फैसला केंद्र की सरकार को लेना चाहिए था, वो उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार ले रही है। अगर हलाल प्रोडक्ट से दिक्कत भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इतनी है, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की केंद्र की सरकार को, राज्य की सरकार को, डबल इंजन की सरकार को पूरे देश में हलाल प्रोडक्ट के आयात और निर्यात पे प्रतिबंध लगाना चाहिए।
देखिए, ऐसा है, ये योगी सरकार का काम है, कैसे बंटवारा हो, कैसे आपस में लोगों के मतभेद हो, ये इनका काम है।
While these arguments might sound plausible, they are anything but. The reason for the ban has nothing to do with curbing religious rights, viewers. Let's state that clearly. On the contrary, it's an attempt at stopping the abuse of secularism. The Sharia compliant, the so-called Sharia compliant certification is handed by religious organizations that have usurped the power of the state. These religious organizations have stepped up a parallel regulatory and certification system that has informally acquired coercive powers to summarily blacklist or promote a particular business depending on whether they are deemed Sharia compliant. In India, only the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, a government body, can issue quality and suitability certificates to companies. This is a known fact. How then can any secular state allow an organization governed by religious laws to override a certification process that derives its sanctity from a secular constitution? In our country, viewers, halal certification is not mandated by the government. No business has to mandatorily get this particular certification from any Islamic organization. The government does not provide a unifying regulatory law. The halal certification provided by many private companies have nothing to do with government sanction. Private bodies mark food or products as permissible of their own volition, or because they are pressured or feel the need to do so because of the pressure that is being put upon them by certain Islamic organizations. Halal India and Jamiat Halal Trust among certification bodies, and they have set up, as I just told you, an entire parallel process. But if an exemption has at all been made, then make no mistake, it is a political indulgence that must be done away with. It is important to recall that the Supreme Court declared Khap Panchayats illegal precisely because they constituted a parallel system of beliefs-based jurisprudence, viewers. Given the highest court's penchant to settle on Hindu religious matters, it is strange that the apex court should have thrown out a petition challenging the writ of Islamic organizations to sell Sharia compliant certificates. Aside from the sale of halal certificates undermining the tenets of secularism, there is also the issue of such certificates violating the right to work. And all of us, all of these points, viewers, all of the above points, force me to put some hard facts out and some questions. Now, viewers, we all know what the complaints are, that the ban on halal certificates curbs religious rights. The question, legitimate question is, how can religious bodies that usurp functions of state agency be legitimate in a secular polity? That's the fundamental question, viewers. How can you have a parallel system? Why should only Muslims have the right to apply codes of a parallel certification body on the rest? What if tomorrow Hindu bodies decide to come up with a peculiar law that governs only their rights and cultures? What would happen then? Or if Sikhs were to do so, or Parsis, or any other denomination? The other complaint is that the ban on sale of halal certificates is discriminatory. The question arises, should non-Muslims also be allowed to issue certificates compliant with their beliefs. Viewers, this is a very important issue. It is not just an issue related to the question of the ban on a particular certificate. It actually hits at what we understand of secularism as such. The other question, is it true that non-Muslims cannot carry out halal and therefore cannot be employed? Well, viewers, all of these questions come to light. The ban on halal certificates curbs the right to choose. That's another complaint. Well, viewers, shouldn't non-Muslims equally have the right to reject acquiring Sharia certificates? Viewers, all of this is out there and needs to be asked. The sale of halal certificates is inviolable as it is ordained by belief. This is the fourth most often heard complaint. Should all marriages, for example, be approved by Khap Panchayats, if that is indeed the case, viewers? Let's ask some of these questions. Let's go across to some of our panelists. But before that, the principal question, viewers, is Sharia compliance legal? Is it compatible with the secular ethos of our laws? Fundamental question brought to you by Motorola. Let's ask it. Let's open this debate up. Let's go straight across to some of our panelists. I want to first begin with the Congress Party representative here on the show. I want to ask you, sir, today, very clearly, and this question keeps coming up, Mr. Jindal. This question keeps coming up, and it is brought up by parties such as yours, that any decision by any government to ban Shariat compliance is an attack on Muslim rights. Can you explain?
Good evening, Rahul, and it's nice to see you after a long time. Well, Rahul, you look at the manner in which things unfolded. On 18th of November, we had a local BJP leader named Shailendra Kumar Sharma, who lodges an FIR in the police station against companies because they are certifying their products as halal. The police immediately files charges. I mean, it goes on to section 153A, section 420, 481. They make a strong case, and immediately the Yogi government acts. It bans, that very day, it bans halal certificate products. Now, Rahul, the question over here is, there is no official certifying authority available in the country which can certify whether a product is halal or not. The case that has been registered in Lucknow states that companies are exploiting religious sentiments to boost their sales. Now, I want to ask a question to our audience. We know a very popular company, I won't say the name, people must have guessed it. All their products are in the name of Divya. All their products are in the name of religious coloration. They have all forms of religious color associated with their products, and they are marketed. They are also exploiting religious sentiments. Is the law going to be applied in a uniform manner to all these companies, or is it going to be selectively applied to certain religious companies, organizations? The question is not with respect to the manner in which the government, if the government is taking a due course via FSSAI, some norms have been put forth, some directives have been given,
right,
and there have been non-compliance, we stand by the government. But then this is a clear-cut case of politicization.
Let me very quickly just set the facts out there, Mr. Jindal. I think you're making a couple of mistakes in the enunciation of what you're saying. Number one, unfortunately, the government has not banned in toto the sporting of such claims. It has only, one second, sir, it has only banned the sale by organizations of such certification. Why? Because these organizations are using their self-acquired authority, muscle, etc., to hold back certification which they are not authorized to issue in exchange for certain monetary considerations. So basically, it's a kind of extortion. So we need to make a differentiation. you can spot on your products, you can say that this is halal compliant. That is still allowed. Just like you go to certain vegetarian restaurants where it is clearly put that this food is made through, the use of vegetable oils or doesn't contain onion, etc. It's all extremely self-driven, self-regulated. No one is being given, let alone an authority outside of the formal structure of the state, the right to impose all of this. That would mean that you don't need a government, then you can run this country on the basis of a parallel jurisprudence system, etc., etc., and then the implications are many. But let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, I heard a debate in which you were, I think, with me some months ago, where you made some very interesting points. Why do you believe that A, we haven't gone far enough, and B, that what the Yogi government is doing is within the writ of the law? It's not doing anything to harm any particular community. It's not being communal, in other words.
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I think halal certification by private agencies is the first step towards a Sharia-compliant India. There are two issues here, and I'd like to delve into them briefly because one is real and immediate, while the other is more philosophical and exposes the hypocrisy of this so-called secular country. Number one, why do we need multiple official agencies to certify food and other products? This is an open invitation to corruption and blackmail. In fact, the UP government order states, quote, the right to decide the quality of food items lies only and only with the authorities mentioned under the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. Thus, halal certification of food products is a parallel system which creates confusion regarding the quality of food items and is completely against the basic intention of the said act and is not tenable under section 89 of the said act. Unquote. Now, why has this come about? As you correctly said, Rahul, because Muslim entities like the Halal India Private Limited, Jamaat-e-Ulema-e-Hind Halal Trust, Halal Council of India were exploiting religious sentiments to frankly boost sales by providing halal certificates to customers of a specific religion. Rahul, it is a fact. One cannot stop anyone in this country, a free country, from labeling a food Sharia compliant or GM compliant or any other compliant or not. But if at all any agency should certify food, halal or otherwise, it should only be a government agency, because this would immediately stop blackmail and extortion by these private halal certifying bodies. Besides, the money they make out of it also being allegedly used for activities not commensurate with the sanctity and security of India. Number two, let me now come to the hypocrisy when it comes to halal, in particular meat products, because that is the majority of what halal certification is all about, 80 to 90%. Rahul, no sane person, least of all I, would accept animal cruelty. That said, this is the time to ask a few pertinent questions of selectivity and double standards when it comes to Hindu religious and ritualistic practices. In 2019, as you're aware, in fact, that was the discussion you're talking about, the Tripura High Court banned animal sacrifice, even though Hindus argued that this practice was a centuries-old tantric tradition of worshipping the 10 Mahavidyas. What the Hindus pleaded was also in keeping with the famous 1954 Shirur Mutt judgment that established the sanctity of an essential religious practice, but the judges would hear none of it. In 2014, the judges of Himachal Pradesh High Court had similarly banned the 600-year-old tradition of animal sacrifice during Kullu Dashera. The question to be asked, Rahul, is why should only the religious Hindu be prevented from conducting animal sacrifice? If the state is against animal sacrifice, and laudably so, then shouldn't it be against all animal sacrifices conducted in the name of religion? But is that the case? Every single day, more than 1 billion Muslims eat meat after the religious ritual of halal has been performed. In fact, it is an essential requirement. The dhabiha or the prescribed ritual slaughter must be staged. The incision must be precise and deep that cuts the carotid artery and the trachea. The blood must be drained completely. This, while the animal is still alive. The head of the animal must be aligned to the Kaaba, and it is essential that Bismillah Rahmani Rahim be uttered. Furthermore, only a Muslim can perform the slaughter. So according to the honorable judges, this isn't a ritual. In fact, this ritualistic practice has been deemed so cruel in many European countries that it is mandatory to stun the animal before performing halal. But do our judges have the courage to shun selectivity when it comes to animal rights? The answer is no. So we are soon going to become a nation which is Sharia compliant, like it or not, Rahul.
Well, that's a very straightforward view. And remember, viewers, I'll take another example of a story that actually hit the headlines over cruelty issues with regards to bulls, and that was Jallikattu, if you remember, viewers, for the longest period of time. And this ball bounced between the Supreme Court and the Tamil Nadu government of the day. I think it was the AIDMK government, and there was this huge kerfuffle. Why? Because the Supreme Court deemed that the entire sport was cruel in the extreme to the bulls that were raced. So the Supreme Court thought it necessary to get into regulating how the sport needed to be conducted. But here, viewers, and let me also tell you, there's another issue here. Discrimination is what is being talked about, but I think, if I'm not wrong, and I want to bring in the Samajwadi spokesperson here, halal can only be carried out by members of the Muslim community. That means in an industry that is thought to be about $100 billion, non-Muslims cannot be employed. Now, that is an apartheid. Yes, I think Dr. Ranganathan is holding up something. I want to bring in the Supreme Court, the Samajwadi Party spokesperson right after. Yes, what are you holding up, Dr.
You're
Ranganathan?
absolutely right. I'm just giving evidence to what exactly you said right now, Rahul, because a Jain was arrested in his Jain bakery, because all he said was that my religion does not allow for any interference in what my beliefs are. But the fact is that while a Jain can be arrested, are Muslims and Muslim restaurants arrested for insisting that only Muslims are allowed to perform halal? They are not.
Well, there is a fundamental problem here, viewers. Fundamental exclusion, privilege, call it what you want to. And I want to bring in the Samajwadi spokesperson, Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider, I want to ask you a simple question. You come from an area where you probably are aware of this parallel jurisprudence, this setup called the Cup Panchayats. Now, should Cup Panchayats be similarly allowed to certify the sanctity of marriages that are taking place within their villages? Because that would flow from what you want.
See,
should we bring them back?
There are 2-3 different questions here.
First of all, one question. I only asked you one.
No.
Should Cup Panchayats be brought back? Because if you want to make allowances, you want to set up a parallel process aside from the FSSAI driven process, then Cup Panchayats should be allowed to do what they want to in the areas where they hold sway. Would you be okay with this?
Let me respond to you.
Yes, please.
First of all, in this country, according to Article 21 of the Constitution, every citizen is free. Whatever they want to eat, they can eat.
Yes.
Jews eat kosher food, Muslims eat halal food.
Of course.
And everybody has their, a religious law according to which they eat. We don't have a problem with that. But here comes a question. When UP government banned halal certified food in Uttar Pradesh, I have a very specific question, and that will answer your question. The question is, are they against these 5-6 agencies which are giving halal certification, or they are against halal food? This, I think, Bharatiya Janata Party should answer. Because if they are against these agencies who are giving certificate, then this is Amul, which is Anand Milk Union Limited, which is not owned by any individual. It is owned by a government of Gujarat. It has got an halal certificate from Jamiyat Ulma Halal Foundation India. Why is the government getting certificate from these agencies if they want to ban it? This is my first question. Second thing, if according to FSSAI, okay, they have a green tag or an orange tag or a red tag on different food items. I mean, it contains non-vegetarian food or vegetarian food. Suppose if there are certain vegetarian items in which some preservatives are included, and that it contains sometimes glycerine. Glycerine is either derived from plant or from animal. So there are two types of glycerine. So that tag on the food item, if the glycerine is derived from an animal byproduct. So, but that byproduct is according to the halal system which Muslim adhere or not, that can be only determined by somebody who is aware of this. If you have a problem with that, why not the government do that? Why not the government tell us that this is kosher food, this is halal food, this is according to the kuta
Rahul,
sacrifice which
one
many
second.
certain Christian people eat. So I think that there shouldn't be any problem with that. You cannot be selective that, there should be a specific type of cola which can be sold in the market. You cannot do that. Forget about Patanjali. I'm telling you about a company which is not owned by an individual,
Right.
but by a government.
Right. I'll be a little sarcastic here. We are talking, of course, to a Samajwadi Party spokesperson that almost called for a Sharia-compliant vaccine, viewers, if you remember back in time. They said that ये तो BJP की vaccine है जिसमें पता नहीं क्या-क्या ना डाला हो. So, I mean, this is that party. But one second, sir, I just want to make one thing very clear. Again, sir, just like Mr. Jindal, in your wisdom, Mr. Haider, you are trying to confuse two issues. Go ahead. On your one second, let me finish. Let me just draw the distinction, please. I think it needs to be set, and I want to bring in Anila Singh because she needs to defend the BJP on this point. It's a very legitimate question. I think it has been very clearly. One second, sir, Hassan Bhai, 1 minute. So I know that you're there, sir. I'm coming to you. I know you are very good at making very articulate points. I'm coming to you. Let's do this peacefully, one by one. Should I not go to Haider Saab? If you don't want him on this show, certify him as being person who you don't want to hear and I'll get rid of him. Then we don't have to deal with him. Then I'll come to you only. आप तो certify करते हैं इतनी अच्छी तरह से, उनको certify कर दीजिए. Not compliant with hard facts tonight. And I'll get rid of him. But let's not do that. Let's stay to the plan. I'm coming to everybody. I promise you, sir, I'm not going away anywhere. Now, I just want to make it very clear, viewers, that this is a ban on those who are selling this particular certification. It's not a ban on people who voluntarily want to advertise that their food is halal compliant. This is the distinction. So you can still go to a shop and that shop can very legitimately write that this food is halal compliant. This ends the monopoly of certain organizations that sell certificates so that they can extort money. That's the difference. So this is not an assault on Muslim rights. Dr. Ranganathan, I think, is agreeing with me here.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with the SP spokesperson Abbas Bhai. He's made some great points, and I think the BJP. I think the BJP needs to have
Why, for example, does Amul, which is of course government-owned entity, also go and get this halal compliance certificate done if it is such problematic thing as the Yogi government has declared it to be, Anila ji?
My round to all. So if you talk about Amul, then I have to tell Samajwadi Party spokesperson it is a cooperative. So secondly, if we talk about Amul, we talk about Baba Ramdev ji's product or Dabur, etc. They do export their products to 57 Islamic countries where it is mandatory to write whether the product is according to the halal norms or not. So do not try to twist the matter here. And if I talk about these organizations who are very much indulged and they are like vertical of Ghazwa-e-Hind in India, in Bharat, then definitely if this certification and the money minted out of the certification of the products, that whether they are halal or not, they are earning huge amount of money, and where this money is going, that is a point of query as well. If I talk about Uttar Pradesh, if I talk about the step taken by Yogi Adityanath ji, I will say it is a very bold and a great step to take. But at the same time, I heard Mr. Rashid Alvi today. He said, अगर हमारी सरकार आती है तो बहुत सारी चीजों को हमें तब्दील करना पड़ेगा. So this is the warning to all the Hindus living in Hindustan, living in Bharat. The political parties who are deep into appeasement, they are declaring very boldly, and parties like Samajwadi Party, they too are standing with Congress Party. अगर हम आएंगे तो हम तब्दील कर देंगे, वैसे ही तब्दील कर देंगे
Nee, Anila ji, can I ask you a counter question, please?
Was injected
No,
in.
can I ask you a counter question? You see, if you're so worried about these parallel organizations, etc., and you want the laws to apply equally, then perhaps Yogi Adityanath needs to also convince the central government to, let's say, strike down the Places of Worship Act, or go in there and start going after certain state governments that are putting in HR and CE Act. So my question again, coming back to you, prompted by the Samajwadi Party, Mr. Haider, is the following. Why is your action selective?
Of course not. No action is selective. 3-4 days back, when Yogi Adityanath ji declared that a beautiful stadium will be built in the village of Shami in Amroha, was that selective? Did Hindu say anything? अरे क्यों यहाँ पे क्या appeasement हो रहा है? None of the Hindus said, and whole of the Amroha, because I come from that area, we all are mighty happy about it. A beautiful stadium will be constructed, whether we talk about Hindus, Sikhs or Muslims, all the children, they will be playing there.
Okay.
They will be learning sports.
So you're saying
there.
nothing selective about this. This is just to basically bring about uniformity
No
in the
Gorak
law.
Danda, no
Let me
Gorak
bring in
Danda, no Gorak
AIMMs.
Danda will be allowed in Uttar Pradesh. No Gorak Danda. Yogi Adityanath ji was one when he took the oath. After that, he had banned all illegal slaughterhouses. He did that. And at that time also Congress, BSP, SP, they made like
Mr.
whole lot
Hassan,
of hue and cry. He did
would you like to respond to Anila Singh?
Slaughterhouses or madrasas, they will be banned in Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
And he did that.
Okay. Mr. Hassan,
Yes.
a response, sir.
मैम राहुल भाई एक बात बोलना चाह रहा हूं कि मैडम ने कहा कि गजवाए हिंद से इनको इतनी मोहब्बत पता नहीं क्यों है। बीजेपी को पाकिस्तान, जिन्ना, बिरयानी, शिरवानी, मंदिर, मस्जिद, टोपी से इतना मोहब्बत है। जिन्ना के मज़ार में अडवाणी जी जाते हैं, नवाज शरीफ के यहाँ मोदी जी जाते हैं, मोहब्बत इनको है। हम तो जानते ही नहीं क्या है गजवाए हिंद। लेकिन पूरे अभी वर्ल्ड का सबसे लार्जेस्ट बीफ प्रोड्यूसर है, बीफ एक्सपोर्टर इंडिया है, सब हलाल सर्टिफिकेट होके जाता है। और योगी जी का जो नींद खुली 8 से 7 साल हो गया सत्ता में, तब नींद खुली क्या? मोदी जी को 9.5 साल बाद याद आ रहा है क्या कि हलाल कोई सिस्टम है? आप बतलाइए, पूरी दुनिया में जाता है बीफ, भारत सबसे बड़ा एक्सपोर्टर में से है। उसमें जैन कम्युनिटी, उसमें नॉन मुस्लिम में अपर कास्ट के लोग हैं, बीजेपी के लोग, उसमें एमएलए एमपी का उसमें शेयर है। बीजेपी उन कंपनियों से चंदा लेती है। उस वक्त उनको नहीं दिखता है क्या हलाल है क्या है। ये महात्मा गांधी ने शराबबंदी कही थी पूरे भारत में, अभी तक क्यों नहीं लागू किया? बहुत बड़े धार्मिक गुरु हैं तो शराब नुकसान पहुंचाती है, शराब से हमेशा सेहत के लिए नुकसान है, तो बैन कीजिए ना भाई शराब को। सिर्फ चुनाव के वक्त योगी जी को याद आता है। योगी जी को बोलिए कि रोजगार पे भी कुछ बात कर ले। डोनाल्ड ट्रंप आते हैं तो ताजमहल का फोटो देते हैं, उसके बाद जाकर लाल किला में झंडा फहराते हैं, फिर बाबर करते हैं, अकबर करते हैं। अरे भाई ये दोहरा मानसिकता आप क्यों करते हैं? आप बतलाइए, वो कंपनियों से पूछिए, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी है, सब जैन कम्युनिटी है, सब अपर कास्ट हिंदू कम्युनिटी की है। वर्ल्ड का लार्जेस्ट बीफ एक्सपोर्टर है, ये मोदी जी राज में है और योगी जी के राज में है। उसके लिए कोई पाबंदी नहीं। मिडिल ईस्ट से पूरा इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है, आरामको से आ रहा है, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी से आ रहा है, अदानी को आ रहा है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, उनके साथ गले मिल रहे हैं। लेकिन भारत के मुसलमानों से इनको इतना दिक्कत क्यों है? उनसे मिलने में इतनी बेचैनी क्यों है बताइए? और हर कुछ चुनाव के वक्त क्यों याद आता है? अरे अजहर मसूद को कंधार में आप छोड़े थे जाकर, बीजेपी सरकार छोड़ी थी, महबूबा मुफ्ती के साथ सरकार आप बनाए थे, हम नहीं बनाए थे।
सही बात है। एक सेकेंड आपसे एक क्विक क्वेश्चन, आप पहले तो ये बताइए, डू यू सपोर्ट दिस मूव? Forget about the selectivity and the timing, etc. I'm just asking you, do you support the fact that there should not be any of these organizations issuing arbitrary certificates? Straight question.
स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन। भारत सरकार को, उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को एक रेगुलेटरी बॉडी बनानी चाहिए जिसमें हलाल का प्रोविजन हो, उसको मिलना चाहिए, ये ऑफिशियल होना चाहिए। ये हरासमेंट करने के लिए, ये रंगदारी करने के लिए,
आप कह रहे हैं, यू आर सेइंग दैट द स्टेट शुड नाउ इंटरफियर इन रिलीजियस अफेयर्स। शुड द स्टेट आल्सो सेट अप ए कमिशन
इंडिया में, सुनिए,
फॉर माइनॉरिटी वुमेन? एक्सक्यूज मी, वन सेकंड। शुड द स्टेट आल्सो, नो वन सेकंड हसन भाई, अगर आप इस लाइन पे चलेंगे तो द स्टेट शुड ऑल्सो सेट अप अ कमीशन फॉर माइनॉरिटी विमेन, स्पेशली मुस्लिम विमेन, टू प्रोटेक्ट देम फ्रॉम पॉलीगमी। ये आपको कैसे लगेगा?
सुनिए, भाई अब अगर बात जाएगी तो फिर गुजरात तक बात चली जाएगी।
देखिए ना, यही तो मैं कह रहा हूं, कहां रुकना है हमें,
और
सीमा कहां हमारे को तय करनी है।
सुनने दीजिए, सुनिए 30 सेकंड। ये कहां की गुंडा, सुनिए, ये कहां की गुंडागर्दी रहती है जो आप एक कोई धर्म अगर पर्व मनाता है तो आप जितनी दुकानें हैं सबको बंद कर देते हैं। ये कहां संविधान पे लिखा हुआ है?
सर, ये आप कहां जा रहे हैं? मैं आपसे एक छोटा सवाल पूछ रहा था, अब आप पूरा, अच्छा पता नहीं अब आप
में होता है।
अब आप कहां पहुंच गए?
सुनिए, दिवाली के दिन आपने 22 लाख दिया दिवाली के दिन आपने 22 लाख दिया जलाया, आपने करोड़ों रुपया खर्च किया, हमने कुछ इतराज नहीं किया।
अच्छा।
आप कीजिए, आपकी मर्जी है, लेकिन आप इंसाफ कीजिए, न्याय कीजिए, ये दोहरा मापदंड मत कीजिए।
डॉक्टर रंगनाथन वांट्स टू कम इन,
संबंध निकालिए।
देश
जान गया है, देश जान गया है कि आप डबल स्टैंडर्ड है। भाजपा का हिपोक्रेसी देश जान गया है कि जिन्ना के मजार पर आप फातिहा पढ़ते हैं अडवाणी जी, और नवाज शरीफ क्या बिरयानी यही मोदी जी खाने गए थे। देश जान चुका है।
इसमें आपने 4, 5, 6 चीजें ऐसी मिला दी, एक शरबत बना दिया। कितने उसमें पोषण लगा दिए कि शरबत पी रहे हैं हम मजे मजे में, एंड यू आर नॉट कमिंग टू द पॉइंट। सारा गोल कैसे कहते हैं ना, रायता बना दिया। चलो डॉक्टर रंगनाथन,
आप रेगुलेटरी लाइए, आप रेगुलेटरी लाइए फूड कॉर्पोरेशन डिपार्टमेंट का।
आदिल साहब एक मिनट सुन लीजिए। 2 points. Number 1, can I gently request my good friend Anila ji to not use the phrase Gorak Danda as she has used, because it is illegal. She can be arrested because it has been banned in the states of Haryana and UP because it denigrates the Goraknath Mutt, ironically, from where the UP chief minister comes from. So Gorak Danda is a very bad phrase to be used in today's times. Number 2, it is a fact. People will eat according to their religious practices. Yeah. You see it in Muslims, you see it in Sikhs, you see it in Jains. So nobody could legally, a state cannot legally stop somebody from eating a food. And I, as a scientist would say, am saying that if tomorrow food is manufactured according to GMO, it should be labeled as such so that people know whether food is GMO or non-GMO. The question is, would I be an entity that labels something GMO? No, because tomorrow 10,000 others would come up, will start extortioning and blackmailing people. There should be one entity, as the UP government has stated, that should certify all food. This will prevent, and this is what my good friend Abbas was saying. Number 2, and here again I come to the rampant and cruel hypocrisy of it, because Rahul, my Sikh brothers and sisters, they are forbidden to eat halal. They can only eat jhatka. But you go, I mean, Mr. Sikka, who is at the forefront of this movement, who's saying that Sikhs should not be given by way of something, halal. He went to Starbucks, and Starbucks does not openly say that it is actually giving only halal. So many people belonging to other faiths are being cheated because something is not clear whether they are being given halal or jhatka. Food certification should be done by one agency, and it should be absolutely clear who should have halal and who is not having halal.
You see, Dr. Ranganathan, I think you made a very valid point, because I'll tell you, if I take this logic forward, it becomes problematic. Now, if you're going to have everyone popping up and saying that, look, we'll certify this, we'll certify that. Now, if you all remember that the Congress government banned Salman Rushdie's satanic verses in this country. Now, what if the Book Lovers Society, some fictional, I'm just taking a representative example, please don't come for my neck, but all I'm saying is, what if tomorrow Book Lovers Society of, one second, the Book Lovers Society of Upper Worli or of Nizamuddin East was to decide that no, we want to read the satanic verses because you see it, we have a right. Then what happens?
Not only that, Rahul, if I may interrupt you just for 5 seconds.
Or a movie, yes.
We already have AIMIM certifying who is a Muslim and who is not. According to them, Ahmadiyas are not Muslims. They are certifying agencies.
There you go.
आदिल हसन से पूछिए.
Now, should we set up a, हसन साहब, ये एक बहुत वैलिड पॉइंट है. आपसे पूछ रहे हैं कि अब क्या AMI बताएगा कि कौन मुसलमान है, कौन नहीं है. आप कहते हैं अहमदिया नहीं है. क्या सरकार को एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन खड़ी कर देनी चाहिए जो बोलेगा नहीं, हम बताएंगे?
ये मानेंगे? ये सरकार की बात मानेंगे? अहमदिया मुस्लिम्स हैं.
हम जानते, सुनिए, हम भारत के संविधान पे विश्वास करते हैं और भारत के संविधान को मानते हैं. अहमदिया का, पाकिस्तान का, गजवाए हिंद का प्रोफेसर साहब को बहुत मोहब्बत है उनसे. हमें भारत के संविधान से मोहब्बत है, हम वही जानते हैं. और परजानिया बैन हुआ, फना बैन हुआ गुजरात में जब मोदी जी थे. वो मोदी जी थे, परजानिया बैन हुआ, फना बैन हुआ गुजरात में, तो उस पर कुछ बतला दे कि उस पर क्यों बैन हुआ था?
ठीक लगा, वो ठीक नहीं लगा ना आपको,
भारत का संविधान अधिकार देता है,
ठीक नहीं लगा। You see, this is
भारत
the
के
problem.
संविधान अधिकार
Now he's
देता है
contradicted himself.
किसी को
Now he's contradicted himself.
No, Rahul.
No, one second. If the CBFC, one second. No, see, everyone wants.
You have guts to talk on Sabarila mosque ban.
Calm
You
down.
have guts to talk on Sabarila mosque ban.
See, viewers.
आपको है हिम्मत? पूछिएगा बीजेपी के लोगों से.
See, look at this. See, viewers, everyone wants to have a veto over the law. Everyone wants to. So certain people wanted to watch Parzania when a particular organization, I'm not a fan of any film being banned. Excuse me, Adil Saab, 1 second. I'm not a fan of any film being banned as long as it's not creating mass.
And Modi did not ban.
Yes,
Modi
he
did not
didn't.
ban
He
that
didn't.
film. He is factually wrong.
Absolutely.
Gujarat government ban.
He's absolutely right
No,
about that.
Bajrang Dal, Vishnu Hindu Parishad were
No,
supported by
that's
Mr.
different.
Modi government.
This is exactly.
Pathan
So you
was-
want the
even the Home
equivalent
Minister
of a
Pathan was banned. Home
Vishnu, hang on, you
Minister
want the
Madhya
equivalent
Pradesh
of a
Home
VHP
Minister
to
got
give.
discuss on Pathan.
No, halal certificates out. That's okay for you. You see, viewers, this is where the problem
We
is.
don't want any certificate from
1 second, let me
VHP.
bring in, yes, Mr.
We want
Jindal
the
and Mr.
certificate
Abbas
from the
Haider.
government of India.
Okay, Hassan
Yes,
Saab, now
now-
you have taken up a lot
You
of time.
see, I hope you
Yes.
all can see this on the screen.
We can.
Now, this is from the Quality Council of India, which has laid down the guidelines for terming a particular product as halal. It has laid down the guidelines whereby private agencies, they can act as certifying authorities. Now, you don't chop off the head to cure headache. The whole point is there is no certifying government authority right now available which can certify a particular food
Agree.
product as halal. So the solution lies in giving this authority to FSSAI, making a nodal agency which can approve, which can certify a particular product as halal.
So let me bring in
Now,
Anila
this
Singh
is
on
the
that.
dysfunctional nature of the government.
So at least now we are
Now, over
talking
here, there is no need
solutions.
to
Yeah,
politicize
absolutely.
it.
Now we are talking solutions, even though, viewers, it makes me deeply uncomfortable. Let me tell you.
It is true.
For any government to be sitting and interpreting scriptures, etc., to decide what is right, what is wrong. Because, you know, in this state, look at the Sabrimala judgment, viewers. Look what happened. The state jumped
You'll
in.
be surprised that
The
in
state jumped
Sabrimala,
in,
you
and a
have
lot of
halal
people
jaggery.
talked about women's rights. Now, you see, this is where the problem is, viewers. We have to be very careful about what we are demanding. So, I would just suggest leave it to the market. You can carry on your phone or whatever it is that bizarre, you know, tea bag, etc. You can write there, you know, we are Sharia compliant, and let the people take it up with the company directly.
It is constitutional matter. It's not about
Now we
Sharia.
have 2-3
It's
points to
constitutional.
make.
What? How is it constitutional, sir? The Constitution doesn't say that, you see, certain animals have to
Constitutional
be.
allow every community,
No, come
every company. What
Yeah,
does-
but then
what
in the
Maneka Gandhi
Sharia
told
process,
about,
if you're talking
ISKCON,
about the Constitution, then in the Sharia
Maneka-
process,
Maneka
non-Muslims
Gandhi told
can.
about BJP
Excuse me,
MP.
sir. Non-Muslims cannot carry out halal. Now, the Constitution allows the right to
Achha,
work.
what Maneka Gandhi called about ISKCON,
Sir,
ISKCON, Anandpura
don't change the
temple,
goalpost.
Anandpura
Mr.
ISKCON.
Hassan, don't change
You
the
don't have right-
goalpost.
you have right to question on
You
that.
say that let's go by the Constitution.
I am not changing the
If you're
goalpost. I
going
am
by the
talking
Constitution,
the
then
reality
should
is
not
every-
halal be
yes, it
allowed?
is constitutional
No,
right.
no, no. 1 second, 1 second. So we can't have it
It is
every way, no?
constitutional right. It
You
is
can't have your
constitutional
cake
right,
and eat
Mr.
it too.
Rahul.
No, no,
Rahul,
please.
Rahul,
he
it is
hasn't changed the
constitutional right, brother.
goalpost.
It
Yeah.
is constitutional right.
Adil Saab
We
hasn't
don't
changed the
change goalposts.
goalpost.
We talk it straight.
Yes, no, to give him the benefit of the doubt, Adil Saab has not changed the goalpost. He's changed the entire stadium. Goalpost तो दूर की बात है. मैं इनसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, क्या ना हलाल the process
नरेंद्र
of
मोदी
halal-
स्टेडियम कल दर्शन हो गया है.
Okay, let me ask a fundamental
स्टेडियम
question
आप अपने
before we
नाम से
move on.
बनवाते हैं.
Can halal be performed by a non-Muslim?
Yes,
Answer
that's the
yes or
question.
no?
If you are talking about constitutional equality, आप बता दीजिए.
बताइए.
Right to work तो सबको होना
बोलिए
चाहिए.
प्रोफेसर साहब को बोलिए.
प्रोफेसर साहब आ गए भैया आप बीच में. 1 minute. Let me ask the Samajwadi Party spokesperson. Sir, you are talking about discrimination. I have posed certain questions on the back of certain complaints. Isn't it a fact that halal can only be carried out by Muslim gentlemen? If you are so, no, hang on. If you are so concerned about equality under the law and the right to do as your constitution allows you to do, then tell me, sir, should it not be open to people of other faiths? After all, let me tell you, sir, let me be honest with you. Look at around the country. certain HRNC bodies are run by Muslims.
I think let's not get into Hindu and Muslim.
See, now let's not get into Hindu. You are getting into it, sir. You started by talking about this.
You want to put words in my mouth? Can you just let me
Okay, please,
speak
yes.
first? Yeah. I have 2-3 specific points to make, and it is to Bharatiya Janata Party basically. See, first of all, these agencies are not banned. There has been FIR registered against them, and it has exempted export of meat. That means that still those slaughterhouse might have certification from these agencies, and they will export these meat. So basically, there is not a problem with neither these agencies nor halal food. It's just because 2024 is coming,
Okay.
so they have to make this thing a religious issue, a poll issue.
Anila Singh,
Second,
are you principally, let's ask that question by Mr. Haider, are you principally against these very
am
organizations from issuing halal certificates? And if they do so to export houses, will you go after these agencies as well as the export houses for paying
I think you have not
extortionists,
heard me
alleged
earlier.
extortionists?
You have not-
Very straight.
I
One by
think
one,
you
sir.
have heard me earlier.
First of all,
agree
thank
with,
you, Anandji,
Anand
to
bhai
remind me.
that yes, FSSA.
And
The question is from me or Anila ji?
1 second, sir. One
Can I
question.
now?
Yes.
Abbasji, I have to answer. So let me tell you here, Rahulji, that if I talk about Uttar Pradesh, if I talk about the governance of Yogi Adityanath ji, then no illegal activity, no illegal product.
Please get to the point.
Will be
You
allowed.
answered this question in this way now 3 times. I'm asking you straightforward, straight question. Mr. Haider says, why is the export allowed bearing the same halal certificate that is given by the same organizations?
See, if products are being exported out of the country, and let me talk.
You are
I'm
recognizing those
going to talk
agencies. You are
about
still
Uttar Pradesh here.
recognizing those
So they
agencies.
can,
You are giving
they can
certificate.
go ahead and do it.
I am saying
If the
don't be
product
such a
is
big
being
hypocrite,
exported
Anila
to
ji.
Islamic
So,
countries
Allah,
or
stop
any
that.
other
You are
country
doing
which
it.
allows halal products to be sold openly, then these companies, these manufacturers, they are more than
Okay,
free
so
to
are you going to take some
and do
action
that.
against some
Abbas,
agencies
let me
you are
complete.
giving
Okay,
But
look,
let
I'll
me
leave it
go
at
on,
this.
brother.
Viewers, we are now going
that
to
does not
descend
prove-
into a cantankerous back and forth. The fact is, and there are 3 issues here very quickly. Number 1, no parallel agency should be in the business of certifying food in this country except for FSSAI. Number 2, most importantly, those exporting, if they are carrying these halal certifications issued by the same organizations that are banned from doing so in Uttar Pradesh, there is a big problem. There's a contradiction there. And number 3, the state should not get into this business at all. Leave it for the manufacturer to put out that claim and the market to determine whether they believe the manufacturer or not. We should not be in the business, the state should not be in the business of interpreting anyone's religion. I leave it at that. We'll take a very short break, viewers. We return in just a few moments to the 41 laborers who are trapped. 8 days, India is hoping and praying. What is going to happen? Will they be rescued? We're coming back to that. Don't go away.
Hello, Moto.
So we are going with the securing of lifeline. Then we'll go ahead with the next step.
So when can the American auger machine come to work? Sir?
American auger machine, both the machines are there. You could see one is inside and one is standing
When will it start
outside.
drilling, sir? When will it start drilling, sir?
As soon as the lifeline is established, because that is our priority, we'll start the finish that work and we'll.
So as you heard there, this was Anshu Malik who was speaking, Anshu Manish who was speaking to us at this point in time, and you heard that yes, the work is ongoing. The lifeline pipe is being drilled through at this point in time. Once the lifeline pipe is drilled through, then we can expect that this entire operation of drilling through the American auger machine will come to work. So yes, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. It is going to be a very, very long haul for all these experts who are now sitting over here and trying to make sure that all these people are taken out at the earliest. When will that exact time, exact date come? that is still a big question mark. No one has any answers to at this point in time, because the terrain that we are facing at this point in time, this terrain is something that is definitely making it difficult for the rescuers to penetrate through, and hence we are seeing this entire delay that is happening.
वहाँ से वो आ जाएगा यहीं से
And get them out, and this easiest way is what they feel. Definitely there were a lot of challenges that the rescuers were facing. And not only this, but the machine that is the machine and the pipe that is staying intact, even if at all there is some sort of difficulty that is that is eventually stopped by the resistance. Now the process of raising them inside has already started, and as I mentioned, very easy.
बस बस
Viewers, it's a tragedy that befell upon workers who were working to build a vital link. 41 of those workers remained trapped even after 8 days in the Uttarkashi tunnel. The difficult terrain has made drilling challenging with the loose soil in the area, namely inside the tunnel. Larger diameter pipes have been inserted through the debris to provide food and other essentials to the trapped workers. There's been a big breakthrough today because solid food can now go through that pipe that you can see on your right, that is being pushed through to at least allow for food, substantial food, to get to these workers. They've been trapped there for almost 9 days, and they're also being sent medicines that help them relieve tension and depression. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to the Chief Minister of the state to take stock of the situation. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari also reviewed the rescue operations at the site. Let's go straight across now to Anshul to get the latest from the ground. Anshul, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm going to show those pictures on one side of our screens. What's exactly going on? Because we believe that the rubble has imploded and it's becoming very difficult for drilling machines to go in without actually making it even more dangerous. So what's the technique that is now being employed?
So yes, first time over the last 9 days, there is a glimmer of hope that has been given to these workers who were stuck inside for the last 41 days. And it has now been proven that this debris is not impenetrable. And for the first time, something actually has penetrated through this debris. Now, over the next few hours, the foods that are being sent in, solid food would be sent in, because remember, over the last 9 days, these people were surviving on just dry fruits and some light food that could be thrown in through the air pipes through which air was being supplied inside the tunnel. Now this success that has come for the rescuers is definitely motivating them, but this is not the only plan on which they are going to stick. From tomorrow onwards, we are expecting that the vertical drilling process will also start. What experts believe that they have got the exact and the perfect spot atop the mountain from where they can actually start the vertical drilling process. But that is going to take a long time, approximately 6 to 7 days if everything goes according to the plan. But we have seen over the last 9 days that everything is not going according to the plan, because fight out here is against nature. Now, the easiest and the best way that the rescuers still think that they could get through is still through the debris and through the American auger machine. Now, work through that debris has also started. The American auger machine has yet again started to work. Remember, over the last 2 days, there was absolutely no breakthrough that was made. Now, finally, after structuring that completed inside the tunnel, which means that now the amount of debris that would be falling due to the vibrations of that machine, that would come down, and hence the safety of the people, in fact, the safety of the rescuers will actually be ensured now. So yes, it remains to be seen when this entire operation would come to an end. But today was the first breakthrough that the rescuers have been able to make in this entire.
It's very heartening to hear that at least some progress is being made, but there are also vital questions that need to be posed. So let me go across now to Mr. Bhatnagar. Mr. Bhatnagar, thank you for speaking to me here on The Hard Facts. A couple of questions, and these are important ones. You're the former DIG of the NDRF, so you understand rescue operations in their complexity. What are the complexities here, number one? Number two, could this accident have been prevented? Number three, have we overlooked certain warning signs?
Yeah. So, as regarding, I have dealt such rescue operations in past also, and I have a rich experience. On that basis, I can say that these mountains of Uttarkashi are of these sandy rocks, and having the heavy water stagnation time to time and everywhere. So the soil is very soft there. So anyhow, but adequate preventive measure has been taken by the authorities, especially the National Highway Authority and other experts also. And time to time it was surveyed and audited also. So, but I don't know that what happened. But anyhow, we will succeeded very soon, because now the machines have been procured from the abroad, and experts are also there from Sweden, Norway, US, all are there, and they are making they are broad in broad wide way. And we are also doing this. We are suggesting also from 5 areas from this way they are inserting the pipe from this your north and left wing, as well as through upper side also. I mean to say that horizontal and vertical, in both the ways we are trying to approach the people who are stuck there, 41 people. So, but it's a good news that there is an empty place, and they are being provided this air, water, food, light, and camera also. Now they have taken the help of this robotics. Through robotics, they are getting the exact figures.
Let me go back to Anshul Singh. Anshul Singh, I believe that ISRO has provided certain robot. Okay, I think we've lost Anshul Singh. So let me just go back to Mr. Bhatnagar once. If we can get back Anshul Singh, that would be great, because he's on the ground and can give us the latest updates. Mr. Bhatnagar, why did it take so long to galvanize all this equipment? What's the issue?
Because what happened? Yeah. So what happened? Machines have certain limits. So they have done their own job.
Right.
But in the mid, what happened? This boulders and the rocks and the mud have been stuck there. So but anyhow, it was removed.
So we needed the heavier American auger machine that has now come, was airlifted and brought. Okay, well, let's just hope, viewers, that these 41 workers are rescued soon. We are being told they're working to a timeline of about 36 to 48 hours. So let's hope that after that we get some good news. We'll be keeping a track of this story. We'll take a short break. And coming up is Anand Narasimhan with The Right Stand.
Co-powered by This water is coming from? What is the source of this water?
Source must be in minor.
It is a water coming from the
Local spring.
so spring.
Must be.
No, it is not spring. Surface water coming from mountain.
Hey, Mr. Singh. No, he knows me and Flecky better. But the strength here is so good. I mean, may I have your... Sir, good morning. Sir, बोलिए सर. गई है सर. ना थर्स्ट बेल्ट का अभी नहीं हुआ ना सर. एक्चुअल में दैट इज द रिएक्शन जस्ट लाइक इलेक्शन
नहीं, घनी आबादी का क्षेत्र तो इस इलाके को नहीं कहा जा सकता. यहाँ पर जो मुस्लिम अधिकारी है, ये रिसर्च टीम यही पता कर रही है कि ये पत्थरों के क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स हो सकते हैं. ये पत्थर कंपोनेंट्स हैं, वो उस पर पूरा रिसर्च वर्क जो है वो एक्सपर्ट जो है वो कर रहे हैं. आप देख रहे हैं कि एक्सपर्ट्स को इन्वॉल्व किया गया है. वो जिनकी एक्सपर्टीज केव इवैक्यूएशन में, टनल इवैक्यूएशन में पहुंच रहे हैं. और ये फाइनल पॉइंट का है
behind me and in front of me as well. All these people.
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Sacked, jobless and then rehired all in a matter of hours. Sam Altman, former CEO of OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, who was recently sacked by the company, will be joining Microsoft soon. The announcement was made by none other than Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, who informed that Altman would be joining to lead a new advanced AI research team. Now, according to data from a telecom regulatory authority of India, the 4G subscriber additions for telecom operators rose to a 2-year high at